Hello everybody and welcome to Gene's Reviews from a regular dude, where I do trailer reactions, I react to YouTube videos, I review YouTube channels, occasionally I'll review a movie, but really, I just do whatever the hell I want.
Hello everybody and welcome to Gene's Reviews from a regular dude, down in the basement. Today, we're going to do one from Top 5 Unknowns. This is 5 disturbing paranormal cases that remain unsolved to this day. I usually don't like watching stuff that hasn't been solved. But sometimes I guess it's kind of interesting to see if you can, come up with a theory on what happened or whatever. But I like a happy ending. Or not necessarily a happy ending, but I like closure, But let's check this out.
In the 21st century, a lot of things that we previously viewed as mysteries or unsolvable have now been debunked by science. However, there are still some things in our world that remain unsolved, even to the most well-respected scientists or investigators in their field. Have you ever had something happen to you that you couldn't explain? Whether it was a ghost sighting or a brush with the paranormal, let us know in the comments. So sit back, relax, and let us bring to you 5 creepy paranormal mysteries. Number 5. The missing 411 phenomenon is a term coined by author and supernatural investigator David Paulides. Paulides has released various books and documentaries about the subject. He tackles the growing number of people who are going missing from U.S. national parks and forests and claims to find out the true answer. He claims that he was approached by a park ranger while in a national park. The park ranger was familiar with his previous work surrounding Bigfoot and begged Paulides to investigate. The park ranger explained how as far back as the 1800s, people have been going missing in the U.S. national parks under very mysterious circumstances. The National Park Service that was established in 1916 has estimated that over 1,000 people have disappeared in national forests and parks. With police and government resources being stretched tighter every year, it can be easy to see why so many people go missing. Others have put forward the argument that police forces and search and rescue teams should be better equipped by now to deal with such incidents, as they've been happening for decades. In his book titled Missing 411, that took 4 years and 9,000 hours of investigation, David examines case files of missing people in a way that has never been done before. He looks at traits, geographic location, and other things to draw conclusions. Although he doesn't have one prevailing theory as to what's happening in our national forests, he wrote in the book stating, "The field of suspects is narrowing. Go out of your comfort zone to determine who or what is the culprit." David has often alluded to the fact that the missing 411 phenomenon is closely...
The culprit could be they just got lost, but there's too many of them and you would think they would find some evidence of them somewhere. It's like some of them just vanish, without a trace. You'll see their footprints and then they're gone, like they were just taken. So, how do you explain it?
Linked to the paranormal and may well be not of this world. Is there a mysterious paranormal force luring people from the U.S. national parks? Perhaps Bigfoot is to blame. Or is there a simpler, evidence-backed explanation?
Could be both of those, or all 3.
Number 4. On February 21st, 1997, Art Bell, the host of Coast to Coast AM, received an odd call from a man going by the name of Mel Waters. Coast to Coast AM is no stranger to odd callers and wild claims, as the radio show deals mainly with the paranormal and unexplained. However, something about Mel Waters bothered listeners tuning into the show that day. Mel claimed that there was a bottomless pit located just outside of his home in Catitas County, Washington. He claims to have performed an experiment where he dropped a weighted fishing line into the pit after he noticed that anything he threw into it didn't hit the bottom. Mel claims that he got as far as 80,000 feet and the weighted line still hadn't hit the ground. Many people have
Wow.
called this an obvious hoax, much like the Area 51 call that Art Bell received, but paranormal investigators believe Mel and have been searching for the hole ever since. It is claimed that the pit possesses paranormal powers. A neighbor of Waters disposed of their dog's body in it, only to find their dog
What do you mean they're searching for the hole? He obviously knows where it's at.
alive and well days later walking around the property. He also claims that he tried to use his radio while at the pit. However, instead of unusual music and radio shows, Mel was met with old radio stations with weird voices emanating from his radio. The story then goes that Walters was approached by a man in a biohazard suit who told him that the pit area had to be sealed off due to a plane crash.
Okay.
From then
it's
on, no one
could
was
be an
allowed to get close
alternate
to the pit.
reality or
The
something.
government stole the land from Waters and gave him money in order to move away from the property. Paranormal investigators have spent years trying to figure out the exact location of what has now become known as Mels Hole. The more paranoid investigators believe that the government is involved and are covering up whatever is in the hole.
That would
The story
surprise
of
me a
Mels
bit.
Hole is considered a paranormal urban legend. People have spent tireless hours debunking Mels Hole's story, but there are still some people out there that wholeheartedly believe that Mels Hole is real, and it's only a matter of time before we find it.
I don't know why they do that. They think we're going to protect the people. We're not going to tell them anything about it because they can't handle it. Let us know what the hell's going on. And that explains why they can't find the holes, because it was covered up by the government.
Number 3. The case of Shanti Devi is one of the most compelling cases of reincarnation we have to date. Shanti was born in 1929 and didn't speak much as she was a child, but grew up to have a pretty normal childhood. That was until the age of 4, when she burst out, "This is not my real home. I have a husband and a son in Mathura. I must return to them." Shanti's parents brushed it off as their little girl having a very active imagination and reassured her that this was indeed her home. Nonetheless, Shanti persisted, telling everyone, including teachers at her school, that she was a woman named Lugdi Devi and lived in Mathura. She even gave the teachers Lugdi's address, and they sent a letter to the house, with Lugdi's husband, Kedar Nath, writing back to them. Kedar confirmed that his wife had died during childbirth about 14 months before Shanti had been born.
Wow.
Awestruck, he visited Shanti, where she was able to recall details about Lugdi's life. She was able to tell him where their home was and what it looked like inside, and even gave details about her extended family. Gandhi was fascinated by Shanti's case and paid her a visit. It was concluded that Shanti was telling the truth. No one had told her any details about Lugdi Devi, and she was able to recall memories with complete accuracy. The whole of India rejoiced as they had their
I've always wondered about reincarnation. How come some people claim to have been reincarnated when others don't? What's the difference? Do they have like unfinished business that they need to finish before they cross over, or do they just not want to cross over, or what?
first genuine reincarnation. Lugdi was a devout follower of Lord Krishna, and many believe that her devotion to Krishna is the reason that she was reincarnated. Shanti Devi said, "I'd almost reached the state of eternal bliss and salvation, but I made a mistake. I was far too eager to come back to earth again, longing to see my son and yearning for my husband. My love was egotistical, greedy, and demanding. I still loved myself even when I was dead. Therefore, I had to experience death's next stage, reincarnation. My earlier life is still with me and had never really come to an end. It was my real life. The other was like a dream." Number 2. Halebatu, located in Romania, has a reputation as the world's creepiest forest
Scary
and has been
forest,
called
yeah.
the
I
Bermuda
think there's a
Triangle of
video on
Romania.
this.
It has attracted scientists and witches alike, desperately trying to find the secrets that lay within. The forest is named after a shepherd who went missing along with his flock of 200 sheep. He was last seen walking through the tall, twisting trees before vanishing forever. Another local legend is of a girl who went missing in the forest, only to reappear after 5 years in the same clothes, with no idea where she had been. Halebatu is most famously known for the apparent UFO sightings that happened there in 1968. A man by the name of Emil Barnea, who was a military technician, claims to have photographed a UFO in the clearing of the forest. One man by the name of Alex regularly visits the Halebatu Forest in hopes of catching a glimpse of some of the paranormal activity that takes place within its trees. One night, Alex took the brave decision to camp overnight and had this to say: "Me and my friends kept being woken by a very loud hoof noise, like a horse or a particularly large deer. Every time we would stick our heads out of the tent to investigate, the noise would stop. Should you be brave enough to venture into the Halebatu Forest, you'll be met with strange symptoms such as nausea, anxiety, and the feeling of being watched, and all of your electronics typically failing. That's not all, you'll possibly encounter ghosts or ectoplasms among other horrors, should you be brave enough to venture into this haunted forest."
I wouldn't. Maybe it would with the group.
Number 1.
Group of people.
In Dumbarton, northwest of Glasgow, there lies a bridge that has a chilling reputation. Dog walkers have been reporting that since the 1950s,
the dogs just jump over the edge for no reason at all. I've seen on this before.
their dogs have been compelled to throw themselves over the bridge to their deaths. It's estimated that over 600 dogs have leapt from the bridge, 50 of which lost their lives. The bizarre phenomena has left locals and paranormal investigators scratching their heads. Lottie McKinnon said, "I was sure she was dead. Something overcame Bonnie as soon as we approached the bridge. At first she froze, but then she became obsessed by a strange energy and ran and jumped off the parapet." Others have described watching their dogs scale the bridge wall before jumping, and others have even claimed that dogs who survived the jump would return for another attempt. Something at Overton Bridge is luring dogs to their deaths, whether that is a ghost or another paranormal entity. There have been numerous scientific explanations put forward. However, the locals of Dumbarton aren't convinced. Their local folklore and history is full of superstition and belief in the paranormal. They believe that a ghost called the White Lady of Overton is responsible for the mysterious dog deaths. The White Lady of Overton is the ghost of a widow from 1908 who walks around the bridge and surrounding areas looking for her deceased husband. It's thought that the bridge is a thin place, a pagan Celt belief where the veils between our world and the next are the thinnest.
I don't know why they would do that. That's really, really strange. I know one thing, if I was to ever go on that bridge with my dog, it would be on a leash, or I'd be holding it. It would be on a leash. So it couldn't jump out of my arms or something, but I love my dog too much for something like that to happen. I'd be crushed. Okay, how about a joke? What concert costs just 45 cents? 50 Cent featuring Nickelback.
Thank you, everybody. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hashtag Mean Gene, all that fun stuff. And if you like this video, tell all your friends, leave a comment down below. And if you didn't like it, then just shut up. And I will see you next time.